Fits like a glove. The bolts fell through the holes just like I thought they would. There's tons of room. Look how much room there is here. We should have put a big block in here.
So box in a box is what we've got. And there wasn't even remains of a box ever having been on it. So we just pulled everything off the shelf to do our new fleet side short box.
So many people are needing a full box for these C10s because the long boxes were so prevalent back then.
It wasn't absurdly expensive for all this fresh new stuff. You know, this is the way to go.
Well, when you account for body work, if you're going to have it right, you know, paying somebody to do all that body work to fix the 10,000th T-post that was thrown in the back of it, you know, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty good shortcut.
Okay. I'm on. Like so.
Oh, it's slotted even.
Oh.
Can you go right there? Okay, up a little there, okay.
There we go.
Okay, now you can go where you want. Yeah, I'm lined up.
Okay.
That's nice, it holds it for you.
Our order of operations here is bedside, front, and then we'll put the other side on.
We'll leave everything loose, we'll measure for square.
Yep. Just get a bolt started in each corner and then, yeah. And we're just kind of throwing a few bolts in here to hold everything and then make sure everything's square before we tighten everything up. You don't want to just tighten it all together because it could be all akimbo.
See that little gap there? And then there's this piece of sheet metal that goes right in between into that gap. It just kind of keys together. So you come in high, and it's tight, and then you can push it down and, okay, you can line up how you want now.
Oh yeah, there we go. I'm in. I mean, it'll kind of draw together.
That's good to draw together, yep. That's nice though, because it holds it for you.
Yeah. This is fun. It's like putting together a model car when you're a little kid.
20 minutes of work, you got a whole pickup box?
Yeah, right? So maybe we stick it into the stake pocket and then measure to...
I always get the dumb end of the tape.
Got 100 to the corner.
Is that strategic?
So we're square, like perfectly. It should go into the little slot here. You there?
Yeah. Pretty even quarter gap.
This is a little tight up here, but it's
pretty near. It's a little.
Yeah, we'll get this tightened up and then, but we're not like way off.
No,
okay.
I don't think it is.
Okay. All right, let's put this back in the box.
I get the hose lined up, you just really got to put some pressure inward on them.
Yeah, I see that.
The bolts will all suck it right into place though. Don't nearly quite line up, which is common when you have 5 different vendors making stamped sheet metal. Is the same way when they probably put them together when they're new. So just getting everything threaded together and started, and then we can suck it down and it'll conform to everything the way we expect it to. If you lay on your right arm when you're right-handed and you put the nut on with your left hand, if you're paid by the hour, it's definitely the method. 'Cause I'm far from ambidextrous.
You say ambidextrous?
Ambidextrous.
So I've been getting made fun of on TikTok for the way that I say measure.
Oh yeah. Measure.
What does Webster say? Is there an A sound or an E sound?
The internet says it's mad.
I'm afraid that the internet is just going to have to learn to live with it. So I guess just a few more nuts and bolts to tighten here. This is done. We'll put our hinge assembly and stuff on at the body shop and fit the tailgate. But you know, there are projects that you do where you spend the whole day or the whole week and it doesn't seem like you've done anything. And then we just spend a morning and, you know, we have a fresh, crispy new short box.
It really kind of flew together. I think the panels and everything, the stampings are really nice.
Yeah.
They were packaged really well for these bedsides. I worried with, you know, shipping bedsides, I would think would give anybody anxiety. Other than like a couple of bolt holes that just take a little work to get lined up, or maybe you might end up drilling one out a little bit to hog it out and make your panel alignment be just right. All the panels like are overlapping right as they should. It's a huge amount of progress in 30 minutes worth of work. We built half of a pickup in 30 minutes basically. And you know, the rest of the stuff takes, you know, months and months of planning and stuff to do.
This is definitely a strange strap.
So we got the cab back from the body shop. This cab hasn't been on this frame since we got it, basically. So engine's been put in, lots of work has been done. I want to test fit the cab to the frame, make sure everything fits, make sure that there's no interference, you know, back of the cylinder head to the firewall. I want to mock up like the brake booster and master, throttle pedal, do as much as we can before this is all in final paint and body work.
Good idea.
Because there's nothing worse than poking a hole or bashing a fresh paint job with a hammer because you didn't test fit everything.
I always get in a hurry and don't do this, so I'm glad that you brought this up because it's money well spent or time well spent to do stuff like this for sure.
I mean, we also get to kind of see what it's going to look like put together. You know, I think we hang the fenders on it and put the box on it.
Well, that's what I'm excited about. I just want to see it.
I mean,
play dress up a little bit.
Yeah.
The other thing too about test fitting this, that's a new floor. So nobody guaranteed that those holes are in exactly the right spot. So we might need to use a die grinder and, you know, oblong the hole a little bit or whatever.
Let's get it kind of positioned where it's going to be positioned and cut those back stands off. And then we'll put the forklift up to where it's going to go and kind of support it when we cut the fronts off. There we go.
You know what? We could probably just slide that chassis underneath. Now what we really need to do,
go forward and turn. Like that?
I'm gonna put a bolt through there.
Did it go?
Yeah, fits like a glove. The bolts fell through the holes just like I thought they would. There's tons of room. Look how much room there is here. We should have put a big block in here.
Transmission clears the floor good.
I think it fits perfect.
Well, once in a while you just get lucky, huh? It's not just fun and games to see what your new toy is going to look like. We're actually, you know, need to make sure that the engine fits the way we want it to and the transmission doesn't hit the tunnel somehow. And, you know, with it together, it gives us a chance to kind of mock up the steering, mock up the brake pedal and master cylinder and stuff, you know, because that master cylinder could hit or the brake booster could hit the valve cover or something. And it's just best to know about it now before it's got a bunch of shiny paint on it. The right thing to do now would be to move on to the stuff that really matters, which would be putting the steering column in, building our steering linkage, test fitting the brake booster and master.
Yeah, but we don't want to do that.
The thing that I want to do is put the box on it and see what it looks like. So do we get helpers? Ooh, we're hitting a tire here. All right, come forward. Ooh, there we go. Yeah.
It's a truck again.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we need to go forward like an inch.
There we go. Yeah, oh yeah.
Like a glove. It's not super tight, just snug.
Perfect.
What, you want me to film you too? I can't.
All the times you're laying underneath it and getting welding splatter in your armpit and whatever, these are the moments that like make those moments worth it.
You can stand back and look at what it might kind of look like when it's done.
I think it's gonna sit pretty nice.
Well, you need to get in there and sit in it like you're driving it.
No, you need to get in there and sit in it like you're driving.
No, you put in more work than I did. It's your turn to get behind the wheel there and make engine sounds. We got it with no bed. It was just the cab and the front end. It looks like a truck. This is awesome. It's super exciting to see something kind of come together, start to look sort of like it could go down the road. You know, I don't even want to paint it. I want to drive it around like this, you know? You want a wrench for any of that stuff?
I mean, I was just gonna kind of finger tight because it's all gonna come back apart anyway.
Okay.
I would take a pliers.
What kind of pliers?
Just the most pliers pliers you can find.
Oh yeah. Let's see. These are some plier-y looking pliers. That's what he said he wanted, something that looks plier-y.
Let's see if we can get the steering column, at least make sure the length is close to being right.
Yeah, you want it?
We're missing the drop that bolts to the dashboard. Oh, wait. Steering column. I even labeled it. Yeah, this goes like that. And then it bolts to that brake bracket.
Mm-hmm. Want me to hand it to you? I think it kind of goes like that.
Yeah, I'm mostly interested in kind of making sure that the length is right.
How's that?
Hey, yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll have
roughly
to shore it all up, but when we get that other bracket in there.
Steering column's mocked up, brake, master cylinder boosters mocked up.
No, I want to just hang the front sheet metal on here before we take it to the body shop to make sure, you know, the reproduction fenders to make sure everything kind of fits the way it's supposed to. And as a bonus, we'll kind of get to see, you know, a preview of the finished product with this thing with the front end on it.
I completely agree.
You haven't been here since we put down this fancy new floor. What do you think?
I think it looks good, man. I wish I had something like this in my garage, but I'm stuck with cracks in the concrete and grease stains instead.
Well, I am at home too, but it's awful nice to have here.
Watch the finish.
Watch the paint, yeah. Hey, that looks pretty good. You know, we talk about reproduction sheet metal and everything's kind of different. Don't just buy a new fender and assume that it's going to fit like the original one did. You know, it's always good to kind of pre-fit everything. You know, in our case, we're doing this before we take it back to the body shop, just to make sure that everything's going to go the way that you want it to. And in this case, you know, we'll do some fine tuning on this gap, but really it looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good to me. You never know if something's been tweaked in shipping too. You always get a panel like this and a tab could be bent or something, so test fitting it is absolutely critical.
If we put the grill in, that'll kind of tell us, you know, the front and the fenders, and make sure we've got that part right. And we'll get to see it with the grill. So this is a big moment. You know, I mean, it'll be a bigger moment when it's done and it's painted and we put it together for the last time, but to be able to see that all of these sort of separate things that we've been doing, you know, cab at the body shop and frame here and let's put this drop spindle on it and this drop spring on it, when it all kind of comes together and it looks the way that it should, it's a really nice sort of validation that you made the right decisions up to this point.
I think when you have almost all the parts back together and it kind of looks like a complete vehicle again, and then you sit and think about how much work it was to get to this point, it's just nice to sit here and enjoy it for a minute.
This all sort of seems to fit okay. You know, we'll check the hood, we'll check the cowl, and then off to the body shop. The truck is back over here at No Coast, and these guys have been tearing it up on the box. We've got a little bit of finish work to do on the tailgate, and then everything is pretty much done back there. It'll be ready for paint. The cab, the front sheet metal, we're in kind of the tedious process of fitting everything. And, you know, before it left our shop, it was kind of good enough. And these guys are pros, and they're helping us push it to something that is going to be really spectacular, I think. You know, you can see all the door gaps are really nice and tight. We've got a little bit of welding and fitting to do here on the cowl where it meets the hood and the fenders. And then we're pretty much going to be done with the welding, finally, and able to move on to the bodywork and then the paint.
So over the course of the last couple of weeks, these guys here at No Coast have really been fine-tuning the bodywork on the cab. We've got it into its last coat of high build primer. There are a few little spots that still need a little work, but for the most part, we're blocking it all for the last time. The gaps are dialed, everything just looks awesome. There are a few little spots that we've got to kind of touch up, but really this is kind of a milestone. This is the last time it's going to be all together before we take it apart for the last time and then paint it, and it's ready for final assembly. So I am thrilled to get it into paint. I'm thrilled to actually start putting the thing back together. So now it's time to take it apart again. We've been talking a lot lately with this project about kind of defining moments, and there are lots of these when you do a build like this. You know, there's the moment when you see it mocked up for the first time and kind of get a preview of what it's going to look like, but the moment when it gets the paint on it is just, there's nothing like it. You know, you get to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know that all you got to do is basically just put it together now. And then you sort of think back to all the work that it took to get it here, all the hours of welding and grinding and knocking out rusty floorboards and blowing out mouse nests, and there's nothing like it. It's so exciting. And this color that we chose, I couldn't be happier with this color. It's this kind of custom charcoal, and we did it in a matte because ultimately this is going to be a driver. And so we didn't want a finish that we were going to have to just lose sleep over, get worried about every time we got behind a semi on the interstate. We did this gloss white two-tone to kind of make it pop, and I couldn't be happier with the way that this thing is coming out. And now all we got to do is get it put together.